Welcome to Carl's Speed Shop. So what we thought we'd do is just do a bit of a walkthrough, guys. A lot of people haven't had the opportunity to be here and just wonder what we're all about. So come on through and we'll show you from the start. So in here we've got a bit of a reception or a foyer area. This is where we house our merchandise, so feel free to go to our online shop and purchase through there. It's also just a bit of a waiting area, a bit of a meeting area, good spot for us to have meetings with clients about upholstery and that sort of stuff as well. So you can see down here there's some seats and upholstery jobs waiting for collection from clients. Got our merchandise all in there, all labelled in boxes. That's not my doing, I'm not that organised. Hats, stickers, etc. Another seat waiting for collection. We've just, for those who don't know, we've also just employed another upholsterer. Kevin joined us a couple of weeks ago. He's been working on the side with us for a little while now, but we've decided to employ him full time because it's really certainly part of the business. It's ramped up and they're just an example of a couple of jobs that he's done for us recently. So, yeah. I won't show you down there. So yeah, this is our what we call our finishing bay or the finishing workshop. Essentially all we do in here is wiring, upholstery and final assembly. So there's no fabrication, no grinding, no welding. So try and keep this as much of a clean space as we can. In here we've got a few things. Obviously the raffle car, you're all well aware of the raffle car. We're just waiting on final sign-off and insurance policy for the new owner of that one to come through. We've been doing some road testing this week in it. Happy to say everything feels really good. So we're essentially ready to deliver. So yeah, hand over to the customer. Just behind us here, we've got this one's under wraps at the moment, but we'll show you in the coming weeks. It's a 57 Chevy 4-door, that's in for a full retrim. So we're doing sort of a modern slant with full wrap through console, all that sort of stuff. So, that'll start to ramp up in the next few weeks. We showed you the F100 or the F1 the other week. Up on the hoist there now. We've stripped all the rear timber out of it. We just weren't happy with the finish on the timber that the painter had done originally, so we're just redoing some of that and just tidying up a few bits and pieces. So yeah, it shouldn't be with us too much longer and be back to the owner. The 47 we've talked about as well in the past, but we're just waiting on another part for the roof kit from the States at the moment. So hopefully that'll arrive early next week and we can then finish that one off for the client. Mark came to the inspection last Saturday. Not sure if we apprised everyone of that, but yeah, it passed its final inspection through TAC. So just waiting on doing the rego and the roof now, and we'll then be able to test drive it and hand that one over as well. So all this space we're going to have. So yeah, come on in, next shed. So we've got 3 sheds side by side here in the same complex. It kind of works well for our needs because this one's more an intermediate assembly. No real heavy fabrication in here, just a bit of light fab, TIG welding, that sort of stuff. Exhaust if we have to do it. We also build some engines and so forth in here as well. So yeah, this one here, although it looks like a bit of a docking station for parts at the moment, it's a 56 GMC, going to be a cab over on a C30 chassis. So good mate of ours, Corey, owns that one. So we're in the process of just going through and trying to get the cab at the height it needs to be mounted, and then we can start with a lot of the other fab and fit out work on it. So being that the chassis was essentially a driving C30, we really haven't got to do a lot to it other than clean it and service it. So it's really mounting the cab, the tray. There's a big sleeper cab outside that he wants to put on it as well. Then we got the F100 chassis that's in a separate video. That one's just waiting for the body to come back. We like to try and get, while the body's away at paint, we try and get the body to as far along as we can, as far as, you know, ready for rolling and ready to accept the body back on it, because for anyone who's built cars, it's way easier to do all your brake lines and all that sort of stuff when the body's not on it. So Got a couple on the hoist here, or one on the hoist and one underneath. One up top there's a mainline ute. A bit hard to show you with things sort of wrapped in there at the minute, but that's got a little 347 stroker Windsor in it. It's got an early 3-speed manual transmission, but an old school overdrive hanging off the back of it. So that should be pretty cool. 9-inch diff, disc brakes all around. Should be a nice cruiser once that one's done. We didn't do the body work or the full build, but yeah, we're sort of finishing it off. We're tasked with that. So the Fargo, it's been here for a while now. Really, we're at a point where we're just kind of we need to finalise all the computerisation and all the EFI and everything, get it running. Do a little bit of upholstery in it, and it's kind of ready to then go back to its owner. He's just going to run that in a patinaed form. So yeah, so hopefully that one will go shortly. This one came in just recently, 39 Chevy pickup. It's been a car that's been through a few hands. Brian, the customer who owns it now, just has brought it to us to update a few things ready for registration in Queensland. So we're actually going to end up replacing the rear end and the front end. Unfortunately, it's got a pretty awful Mustang 2 front end install in it, which in our opinion is just not safe. So we're going to swap that out for something different. So watch this space. That'll happen over the coming month or so, but and just some other cosmetic changes and bits and pieces. We're going to put some nice external door handles on it, because at the moment it's just got little poppers and so forth, which don't really comply with Rego. So yeah, that one's in just for some upgrades, and yeah, that'll keep him happy once that's all cruising along. We've talked about the louver boot lid, that's going to go shortly. Really happy with that. Dragster. So we're actually, Mason and I are heading away to Warwick Raceway this weekend to race the Gasser, but I suppose a few people know we've also got the front engine dragster. So this will be our first time at a real track with real time slips and so forth, and so we're just doing some last minute updates and upgrades, and yeah, should be ready to rock and roll on that this afternoon. Maybe even fire it up. So guys, this is our third shop. Well, actually this was our first shop. This was the one we have been in for the last nearly 9 years now. So geez, where did that time go? But yeah, this is kind of our heavy fabrication now. We've made this, so this is chassis fabrication, grinding, welding. This is where all of our drop saw is, and grinders, and linishes, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, a lot of the big ticket items start in here, and then the cars progress through the system. So you can see stuff scattered all over the ground here. This is actually all the trim off the 52 Pontiac. We're actually going to be blacking out all the trim on this car, so we're just sort of getting it all together, cataloguing it, labelling it. It'll then go away to the sandblaster, because what the sandblaster will do is key the surfaces of all of that up for us without damaging or warping the product, but it'll be enough then to take primer and top coat and so forth over it. So they'll then go on to the painter from there. But there's bumpers, there's sill plates, there's garnish moulds, there's all sorts of stuff going on there. So it's a big job, but yeah, you got to. We've sort of found in the past, if we don't do it, we end up in trouble. Yeah, so come on through, guys. This is the Pontiac. You've seen a fair bit of this anyway, and you'll continue to see a fair bit. We're working on exhaust there at the moment, so dual 3-inch system, X-pipe, hooker mufflers. Yeah, it should be a really nice system. Should sound good, the LS, through this system. So yeah, gives you a little bit of a view of the underside of it if you haven't already seen it. But yeah, a lot more been going on this one this week. All of the under dash stuff, handbrakes and bonnet cables and under dash panels, and getting ready to put AC vents, all that sort of stuff in it. So there's you know, all little bits, but not, you know, visually. You don't see a lot of the progress this week, but yeah, we're happy with where it's heading to. So that one's what it is. This one here is a 51 Mercury. This one belongs to Nick and Alicia. I don't know that we've talked about this one much, but this has basically come in for suspension upgrade. As with every job, it always leads to more and more. It's now getting a full trim job, motor, exhaust. It's got a 4-speed BTR transmission with an electronic controller. We're not doing AC or anything at this stage, but and this car's going to remain in like a patinaed sort of finish, but we've had the chassis powder coated, so it'll be nice underneath, all brand new running gear. We're gonna paint paint all the engine bay and everything up, and the inner fenders, and then from there, so that'll all be nice, and then yeah, patina it outside. But Nick may choose to paint it later on, but that's his call. So yeah, and it'll just run some Steelies. I think they're 17s from memory. So yeah. So as we continue through, yeah, Mason's pretending he can read. So yeah, looking up parts in the catalogues for different fuel systems and all sorts of stuff. So in here, unfortunately, this is sort of a bit of storage right at the minute. We're just kind of waiting on the sandblaster to get these couple of bodies away to sandblasting and then off to paint. The Pontiac pickup, we've just got a few little things to finish on that, and that'll be the same. That'll then come apart ready for sandblasting and go away for paint. The F1, that's essentially a full build, but similarly to the Merc, it's going to end up in just a patinaed sort of finish, but nice chassis, you know, powder coated chassis, updated engine, drivetrain. We've already done the full exhaust system and everything through it. It's got a 9-inch on 4-link, Jag front end under it. We've retained it as left-hand drive, so we might talk about that one in weeks to come at more length once we've got it down off that hoist and back in the schedule of works. Yeah, just through here, just to show you quickly, you know, this is kind of where all that stuff like the louvers and the, you know, the English wheeling and all that rolling up of stuff, you might have seen it on a couple of those videos. It's a little bit tight in here, but it kind of works for us because you're only working on one machine at a time. We're not using these things all day, every day. So you move it out into a bit of a workspace, work on that panel, put that machine away, then move on to your next. So it works for us in the limited space we've got. You know, you see these shows like Kindig where they've got all of this space, but that'd be lovely if we did. But hey, it is what it is. And yeah, just our old school guillotine and our pan brake over there. So once again, you know, we make do with what we've got, and those machines have served us well over the years. And you know, I've always maintained, you know, there's no need to go and spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on equipment to set up your hot rod shop. It's not all about having the coolest equipment on Instagram. It's about being able to get the job done and you know, do it at a reasonable price and outcome for your client. So yeah, and yeah, the wall at the back, unfortunately you can't see much of it at the moment, but Deb had that done as a surprise for me a few years ago while I was overseas, and that's done by our good friend Peter, or Driz as he goes by, Drizzlin Inc. Yeah, very talented dude, and tattoo artist and just artist at large. So yeah, it's pretty cool walking past and seeing that stuff all the time. A lot of comments on that over the years, so that's probably been up there about 6 or 7 years now, so yeah, looking good. So yeah guys, thanks for coming on a bit of a tour with us. For those who are interested, you know, come along, have a bit of a tour through the shop in person if you're ever in town. So, but yeah, thanks for watching. We might fire the dragster up later for you too. Cheers.